Friends, definitely the learnings had been marvelous. Last 5 days, when we look back and connect the dots, we can see that a picture has emerged, a perfect picture of life. How should we continue from here is in our hands. The Purushartha, the action, is left to be done on our end. On the dais today, we are pleased to have Honorable Chancellor of Shantikunjvideo Vishwavidyalaya and Head of all World Gayatri Pariwar, our very beloved Shraddhai Reverend Dr. Pranav Pandya ji, who will be presiding the session today. We welcome you, sir. Thanks for being with us. We understand your busy schedules, and still you always grace and bless us. Along with him, we have, as we know, a lot of faces. Mr. Ven Reverend Patrick Makulam ji, Warrior of Peace, Swami Vishuddhananda ji. Today we have with us Shalini Joshi Singh ji, Shraddhai Sharad Pardhi ji, Swami Amrit Suryananda ji. Yesterday evening we had a wonderful documentary from Akanksha Joshi ji, who showcased the Indian culture to us. We have Parande ji, who has been gracious enough to come to us as a Secretary of Seva International and blessing us today's ceremony. Dr. Chinmay Pandya ji, the hand-holding man who always lifts our energies up. Forest Landrai ji, Ajay Bhavade ji, and our own registrar sir, Shri Sandeep Kumar ji. Big round of applause for all of them, and I request my team members to kindly come forward and help us in conducting the welcome ceremony. गायत्री मंत्र के इस दुपट्टे के माध्यम से परम श्रद्धेय का स्वागत करती हमारी बहनें। श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब हमारे परिवार का एक अंग बन चुके वेन रेवरेंड पैट्रिक मैकुलम, शांति के दूत, उनका स्वागत करते हुए श्याम परांदे जी सेवा इंटरनेशनल से हमारे बीच आए हैं, उनका स्वागत करती हमारी देव संस्कृति की बहनें। शालिनी सिंह जी जो कि एक इन्वेस्टिगेशन जर्नलिस्ट हैं, देश में विदेश में अपनी ख्याति जमा चुकी हैं। स्वामी विशुद्धानंद जी हमारे बीच हैं, आपका स्वागत है। फॉरेस्ट लैंड्राई जी जिन्होंने यथ पिंडे तथ ब्रह्मांडे का कॉन्सेप्ट हमारे बीच बड़ी खूबसूरती से रखा। हमारे अपने भाई अजय जिन्होंने योग के माध्यम से जीवन को कैसे बेहतर बनाएं, ये परिकल्पना हमारे बीच रखी। आप देख सकते हैं मंच के दाएं तरफ हिज होलीनेस जगत गुरु अमृत सूर्यानंद जी का स्वागत करती हमारी बहनें एवं बहन आकांक्षा जोशी जिन्होंने एक सशक्त माध्यम मीडिया फिल्म डॉक्यूमेंट्री के माध्यम से भारतीय संस्कृति को कल हमारे बीच रखा। आप सभी का पुनः स्वागत।
Friends, before we proceed with the ceremony further, we request our music team to kindly bless us with the melodious anthem of this unique Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya that touches the heart of all of us. May I request all of you to kindly rise and join us in the cool geet.
सभी से निवेदन अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएं। All of you are requested to kindly rise for the anthem of this university, Kul Geet.
मानवीय उत्थान का जो अनवरत आधार है, मानवीय उत्थान का जो अनवरत आधार है, देव संस्कृति विश्वविद्यालय सृजन का द्वार है। देव संस्कृति विश्वविद्यालय सृजन का द्वार है। गोद गंगा की हिमालय की मिली छाया इसे, दिव्य वातावरण में पोषित मिली काया इसे। कुल पिता का है बरसता स्नेह संरक्षण यहाँ, विश्वविद्यालय सृजन का द्वार है। देव संस्कृति विश्वविद्यालय सृजन का द्वार है।
मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करना चाहूँगा हमारे संगीत के भाइयों का, और कार्यक्रम को गति देने के उद्देश्य से आगे बढ़ने का प्रयास करेंगे। Ladies and gentlemen, conducting a festival of this magnanimous stature, this enormity, you definitely need minds who have that architectural blend, who has that engineering capability and acumen within themselves, and can see when nothing is there, they can see that building coming up. And therefore, someone who has a scrupulous planning and an eye of detail. Fortunate we are to have a Vice Chancellor of such stature, Shri Sharad Pardiji. I request Shri Sharad Pardiji, who is a beloved disciple of Param Pujya Gurudev and a mentor to lot of us, I request all of you to kindly welcome Shri Sharad Pardiji, Vice Chancellor Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, to welcome all the dignitaries present here.
Friends, we shall start with prayer. Those who can, please join me in chanting Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Deva Maheshwaraha Guruhu Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. In the sacred presence of Param Pujya Gurudev and his blessings, परम पूज्य गुरुदेव और परम वंदनीय माता जी के सूक्ष्म उपस्थिति में, उनके संरक्षण में यहाँ पधारे हुए इस फेस्टिवल के अंतिम कार्यक्रम के लिए, फॉर bidding goodbye to all the guests who came and who made this festival a grand success, इस फंक्शन में पधारे हुए हमारे अपने इस विश्वविद्यालय के चांसलर सर, श्रद्धेय परम श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर प्रणव पंड्या जी, जो हर वक्त उपस्थित रहकर हमारा उत्साहवर्धन करते हैं और हमें दिशा निर्देश देते हैं, who guides us in all respects. With him, there are a galaxy of the guests, but today's special guests I'll mention. Miss Shalini Singh, an investigative journalist, is the guest of the function today. The second guest is Mr. Shyam Parande. He is from Seva International, Delhi. And third special guest is Swami Vishuddhanandji, Director of International Yoga Festival, Yoga Week in India. Along with these people, there are our guests who have been with us for last about 4 to 5 days. Reverend Patrick McCullum, who came with his divine violin and played a very divine tune for the success of this festival. His Holiness Jagat Guru Amrit Suryanandji Maharaj. All other participants, guests from abroad and from India present here today. I must mention certain special presence today in form of artists and the director of the yesterday's beautiful film. It's documentary, I'm sorry, it's a documentary by Akanksha Joshi ji. All those who have been working with us for the success of this conference, for this festival, our Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Chinmay ji, our Secretary Sandeep ji, the team which have been working with us continuously for about a fortnight to make this festival a grand success, our EMD team, organizing team for this conference, media present today, all the artists from abroad and from Dsvv who presented beautiful cultural evening day before, and all of you who have come here for this concluding function. I welcome you all. Please join me in giving everybody each other big clap.
Thank you, VC sir. 4 days ago, the theme was set, the ball was set rolling. It will be most appropriate to call on stage someone who had set the tone, mood of the festival, someone who knows the objective of this festival, someone who has been working round the clock for making it a grand success, and someone who held our hands to make this come so far. I request Dr. Chinmay Pandya, the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, to kindly give the fest report. Dr. Chinmay Pandya.
Dhanyavad. Let us start by sending invitation to that divine consciousness that is around us in every cell of our body, in every breath of our air, in every atom of our existence. And one way to reach that divine consciousness is with the help of Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri is a prayer. Gayatri is a message to that omnipresence, Bhagwan Savita, Bhagwan Surya. And with this feeling, with this wish, with this prayer, that utterance of each word of this mantra is soaking us with the divine energy of Bhagwan Surya. Let us do the Gayatri Mantra together. Om Bhur Bhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodaya. In the subtle presence of Pujya Gurudev and Vandaniya Mataji, I would like to start by greeting those seated on the dais. The chairperson of this ceremony, our revered, our honorable Chancellor. We have other dignitaries present on the dais. We have Swami Vishuddhanandji, who is a very dear part of this family. He is also the director of the International Yoga Week that happens every year in February in Rishikesh, a very close part of our family. Then we have Reverend Patrick McCullum, who is the director of all youth programs for United Nations, founder president of Patrick McCullum Foundation. But we know him as a very sensible personality. We know him as part of our own family. And then we have our distinguished guest today, Shalini Singhji, who is a very famous journalist, a very, very famous journalist in India, and she had not slept at all the whole night. She had traveled all the way to reach to us. The function last night finished with Aaj Tak late in the night, and then she did not sleep and started 3 o'clock from Delhi and reached here at 7 o'clock. So we are most thankful for her to be here. A very close part of our family, a very, very close part of our family, Shyam Parandiji, who is the director of the Seva International, secretary of the International Center for Cultural Studies, and everyone knows him as part of this family for very long. Then we have Mr. Forrest Landry, who is CEO of a huge company in United States, but a very remarkable personality, a person with a great sense for science and spirituality. We have Ajay Bobediji, who is also the part of our family from Czech Republic, Praha, Hrdák Karlove, if I am right. And he is also the director of a yoga foundation there in Czech Republic. I am sorry to miss Jagat Guru Swami Suryanandji and Akanksha ji. Jagat Guru Swami Suryanandji had been part of this family for very, very long, and a strong supporter of our cause, our vision here. And on behalf of Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, on behalf of Honorable Chancellor, on behalf of India, we also congratulate him for the Independence Day of Portugal that was yesterday, and many congratulations from us. Then we have Akanksha ji right on the other corner, who touched the hearts of every single person in this room from the beautiful movie that she made, and I am sure that everyone not only enjoyed but they gave a standing ovation to her endeavor yesterday. Then close parts of our family, Adarniya Sharad Mawaji, Vice Chancellor of this university, Adarniya Sandeep Mawaji, Registrar of this university. Then all the delegates and participants from various parts of the world, the members of Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, Shantikunj Pariwar family. This is a very sad time for us. This is a very, very sad time for us. The day we started, we told you that you are not sitting in the headquarters of an organization. You are sitting in your own home with your own family members. And I cannot tell you how difficult time it is for us to see you go. You know, our father, our guru, he called it a parivar. Parivar means family. And I can tell you that we are a family of very weak sannyasis. We are not so strong who would not cry to see you go. So on one hand, I am standing here to give you the reason why we wanted to have this festival. On the other hand, my heart is bleeding. Our hearts are bleeding. Our eyes are wet, our lips are dry. Because this is a very sentimental, very emotional moment for us to see you go. These moments of departure are very difficult for us to handle. I would still talk about the reason why we wanted to have the festival, but I wanted to share the real emotions that we are going through at this moment. When we talk about why we wanted to have this festival, I remember a story that comes in the Shiv Sutras. Shiv Sutras are based on the discussion between Ma Shakti, Bhagavati, Ma Parvati, feminine power, and Lord Shiva, masculine power. In that discussion, one of the questions that Ma Shakti asked to Lord Shiva is that why everyone is suffering? What is the reason of the plight faced by every single soul? How can one liberate themselves from this endless cycle of starting their life with hope but ending it in despair? How? And Lord Shiva answers the question in a metaphorical manner. It seems like he is not even answering the question, but he is. He says that at the beginning, I divided every soul into two halves. I left one to take birth or births, and I kept other with me. That's it. I left one to take births and I kept other with me. But if you really listen to the message, what he is trying to say, that all of us are incomplete. And we are trying to find completeness in another incomplete soul. And when we are searching for happiness, when we are searching for satisfaction, when we are searching for fulfillment in another person, we forget that they are also searching for happiness in us. And if we had it, we would not be searching it on the first place. So the real sense of completion, the real sense of bliss, the real sense of inner harmony, the real sense of perfection, the real sense of completion comes by uniting with divine consciousness, comes by uniting with the other half, and for that we have to travel beyond us. For that we have to travel deep inside us. Unfortunately, all the travel that we have done together as humanity, all the roads that we have mapped together as mankind have only been an outward journey. A journey which can make our lives comfortable but would not provide us the contentment. When we run after the matter, what we get is material, what we get is mortal, what we get is perishable. But the journey to the happiness, the journey to the bliss, the journey to the perfection is deep inside us. And that was the real purpose of this festival. The real purpose of this festival was to offer you an opportunity to go deep down inside you. The real purpose of this festival was to provide you an opportunity to find yourself. The real purpose of this festival was to allow you to make yourself acquainted with the real meaning of yoga. And the real meaning of yoga is not in the postural balance. Real meaning of yoga is not in some type of asanas. Real meaning of yoga is actually the bliss inside you, is actually the sense of perfection inside you. And that is why when I talk about it, I am not saying that the path of happiness is only inside. Gurudev was a staunch believer of having excellence in all dimensions of the life. And that is why we have this festival as yoga, culture and spirituality. Because on one hand we have got the sessions dedicated to the various dimensions of yoga. We have got sessions dedicated for the yoga, its philosophical understanding, its spiritual understanding, scientific, clinical, academic understanding. Other hand we have culture. So what yoga does to the inside, culture does the same thing to the outside. The cultivation of your inner personality is yoga, and cultivation of outer personality is the culture. And the holistic well-being that you develop after that purification is the path of spirituality. And someone asked me a question that we have seen so many so many variety of strategies here. We have seen so many different types of therapies being talked about, so many different types of practices being talked about. Which one should we take? And I will answer that question with the help of a story. There was a king who wanted to know which is the right path. So he called every person from different schools of faith, different philosophical schools, and asked them which is the right path. So everyone started to say that my path is right and his is rubbish, or they are useless, I am right. So he called everyone and he got so confused, he could not decide like which one is right. Everyone is saying that they are right, other is wrong. Finally a sage came and he said, I will tell you the right path, but you have to come with me to the forest. Deep inside the forest I will tell you which is the right path. So king followed him. Then came a river. So sage said that we have to cross the river. In the forest I will tell you which is the right path. King said, okay, fine, we need boat. He got 30 boats. 30 boats were immediately there for the king. And sage started to reject all of them. He said, no, this boat is not right. I don't like the color. This one is not right. I don't like the cushion. This is not right. The seat is right side. Oh, this seat is left side. And he rejected all of them. King said, what are you doing? We just have to cross the river. Why are you wasting time in selecting the boat? And sage said, then why are you wasting your time to select the path? Select anyone that is right to you. But then stick to it with courage and determination. Conviction, courage, determination, patience, persistence and perseverance are the key. And that is what the real message of this festival. That whatever path you have taken, all of them are right. As long as you stick to them with full determination, full courage, full conviction. And that is the message we want you to take home with this festival. And I really hope that you enjoyed it here. All the cultural evenings were able to provide you the right meaning of the Indian culture. All the yogic sessions were able to provide you the real understanding of the yoga. All the spiritual sessions were able to provide you the real path of spirituality. And as I said on the day one, that if you are here, we really wish that the breath, air, this Vayumandal, this Jalvayu, this Parivesh, this Vatavaran, that is soaking the energy of Puja Gurudev, would be able to provide you the guidance, support, supervision, mentorship for rest of your life. And I really hope that we were able to achieve that. So many thanks listening to me, and thanks again for coming in.
Thanks a ton, sir. Keeping with the time, I would now like to immediately move on with the first speaker of the day, who has come all the way, as just been told by Dr. Chinmay, that she has been traveling throughout the night. Friends, truth is the day when we started October 2nd experiments with truth of Gandhiji, and truth in this world has been forsaken. But there are people who are living for truth, there are people who are actually trying to reiterate the truth, and there's a persona with us today who is actually working on unveiling the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this privilege to introduce to you and invite Ms. Shalini ji with us. She is, please ma'am, she is actually an investigation journalist, and you must have heard about the Colgate scam or the 2G scam, and the person behind unveiling that real truth to the masses, doing a genuine journalism attempt, a former deputy editor with the Hindu group. I request Shalini ji to kindly come and grace the dais and tell us with her journey how difficult it is to be with the truth and then unveil it. Shalini ji on the podium.
A very good morning to all of you. Dr. Pranav Pandya, Swami Vishwavidyalaya, Mr. Shyam Parande, Mr. Sharad Pardhi, Dr. Chinmay Pandya, Mr. Sandeep Kumar, all the dignitaries on the dais, and all the wonderful people in this audience. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to be here amongst you today. It is a difficult job to address so many learned, accomplished, and spiritually advanced people. From the moment I accepted the invitation, I have been thinking, what could I possibly tell them that they don't know already? The topic for discussion, the role of spirituality in journalism, especially investigative journalism, is even more uncomfortable to address because it forces me to admit to all of you that the subject of spirituality in any form or manner is scorned upon by most intellectuals in India and English-speaking journalists in particular. At one level, this is very confusing since both religion and spirituality are subjects, even activities that permeate daily life, including of those very journalists. At another level, the reason why spirituality is denied intellectual endorsement is because it is used interchangeably with religion. Religion is a tricky subject. It has its own social and political sensitivities. Religion has historically been exploited as a vehicle to wrest power, influence, and wealth. It thrives on the extremely dangerous politics of exclusion. So while news organizations are devoting more space, more time, and resources to the coverage of religion, journalists per se keep an arm's length distance from it in terms of manifesting or proclaiming their personal affiliations and ideologies in the professional arena. Discussions on ethics and morality can also lead nowhere since they are defined in specific contexts, and it is impossible to write a one-size-fits-all prescription for all humanity. For me personally, spirituality pertains to engagement and interest in the soul power or the higher self, the intangible guiding force that can only be experienced and enjoyed through an inner world within each of us, rather than through or in the physical world. The outcome of such frequent meetings with the self is the experience of unconditional love, which in turn leads to bliss or ecstasy. And when this bliss spills over, its force creates marvelous outcomes for the world. Truly, spiritual people are consumed with the advancement of humanity by acquainting them with their soul power. It is a calling, much like journalism. To my mind, journalism's role is to be the soul of a nation, to relentlessly work for meaningful change, eventually leading to the upliftment of humanity. A journalist's only obligation is to the truth, and truth that can be verified in the public interest. And journalism is only reliable when it is delivered by a journalist who is independent in mind and spirit. Anyone would argue that all of this is easier in theory than practice. So to illustrate how intangible forces can nudge an individual onto difficult journeys and make them bearable, I'm going to take you through my own personal journey as an investigative journalist. When I became a journalist in 1995, the first briefing that I was given by a senior colleague was that salaries would always be depressing, that it was impossible to progress without a godfather, more so for a woman, that most journalists who were successful were corporate agents, that there was no question of attempting to write anything honest about a growing club of powerful corporates who were additionally private treaty partners with the media house, or in challenging the ruling political establishment since they would hit back with financial probes. And finally, and that's the worst, that I would succumb to crippling boredom and cynicism within a maximum of 10 years, just the same as everyone else. At the time, this was shattering, because I believed journalism was a calling and one that resonated with the highest ideals. In retrospect, I am deeply grateful to the senior colleague for resetting my expectations to zero on my very first day in the job. I was now free to concentrate on my work, knowing full well that I could not expect any professional gains considering I neither had any powerful connections nor the mindset or aptitude to cultivate them. Interestingly, it is in this very backdrop of cynicism, disinterest, vested interests, and gender discrimination that I later went on to deliver in a span of just 7 years a deeply incriminating body of investigative work exposing what is now popularly known as the rupees 1.76 lakh crore or $40 billion 2G telecom scam, the award of 2G telecom licenses to builders rather than telecom players on January 10, 2008 at historic 2001 prices based on an illegal and arbitrary first-come, first-served allocation policy. The rupees 1.86 lakh crore $35 billion coal scam referred to as the Coalgate scam, Vadragate, the shady land deals of Congress President Sonia Gandhi's son-in-law, Haryana Chief Minister B.S. Huda's largesse in licensing 22,000 acres of land to first-time builders at the cost of poor farmers, Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh's corruption scandal, Nabab's largesse to rich corporates at the cost of the rural poor, the $4 billion Sahara Ponzi scam, the potential abuse of power in the award of new banking licenses, and Chhattisgarh ex-Chief Minister's son Amit Jogi's election scandal followed in quick succession. The 2G expose, undisputedly the biggest and most rigorously documented financial scam in independent India, culminated in a cabinet minister, A. Raja, his telecom secretary, along with several officials of privately held firm Swan Telecom being jailed for 18 months or more. Similarly, the Supreme Court cancelled 214 of 218 coal mine permits in its order of September 24, 2014. A public interest litigation against the Himachal Chief Minister is being heard in court, while legal action is being prepared against the Haryana Chief Minister. Sahara Chief Subrata Roy, once untouchable, has also been a resident of Tihar jail since February 2014, while the Robert Vadra scandal became a major cause for the Congress party's debacle in the recent elections. NABARD has withdrawn its controversial scheme favouring corporates at the cost of the rural poor. However, establishing the direct involvement of former Finance Minister Mr. P. Chidambaram, the Prime Minister's office, and even former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh himself in the 2G and Coalgate scandals invited severe hardships. These included personal and professional attacks, surveillance, threats, and censorship. It was around October 2008, after many months of reporting on the basis of access to secret documents, that the Prime Minister, Finance Minister, and then Telecom Minister Mr. Raja met and decided to hold a press conference to clarify that all these stories that I had done were wrong. I was threatened by Raja's personal secretary. Advertising pressure by the government and the big telecom players involved in the scam was used to first censor and eventually block all my stories. This is despite Raja going to jail, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the CAG, eventually independently verifying my loss estimates, a government committee endorsing all the stories, and eventually a Supreme Court verdict in February 2010 upholding the allegation of illegality that I had made way back in 2007 by cancelling all the 122 telecom licenses. Through all of this, the worst attack came from within. Colleagues and senior editors, the gatekeepers of the newsroom, would sit around me discussing within earshot how the 2G corruption didn't qualify as a story. Since every minister was corrupt, so how was singling out the telecom minister any great achievement? They doubted my sources, dismissed the verification of facts as opinion, even going so far as to say I didn't know how to write, despite my tenure of 16 years and the fact that my stories were always printed without any editing. This is also despite the fact that I was absolutely a zero maintenance resource, with no legal notice to my name till date, despite challenging the richest and most powerful people in the country. It is in this backdrop of hostility and complete scorn for the truth that I still continue to deliver stories. I was told that the newspaper didn't support campaign journalism or activism. So basically I learned that it's not okay to be identified as an activist journalist in India. Such a label is a matter for ridicule and not honor. Once you are given such a tag, your colleagues will persistently suspect your agenda, ignore your research, and dismiss you for being emotional. And all of this is aimed at paralyzing or destroying the journalist professionally. Despite this environment, the 2G scam was rigorously documented in over 50, maybe 60 stories, becoming a symbol of big and embedded corruption, exposing the nexus between journalists, PR firms, bureaucrats, big business, and politicians. Its unexpected upside was that it unleashed unprecedented social and political transformation as the outcome of public anger against corruption. The 2014 general election in India was fought on three primary issues: corruption, governance, and government's political accountability, a first in India's 67 years of independence. Through these years, I continued to encounter the anger of colleagues, since investigative journalism also hits at the interests of beat reporters who survive by protecting their sources and keeping them happy. And the only way to do that is by not telling the real story and preventing others from doing so as well. Another smart way of killing investigative work is to deny news space, since the devil lies in the detail, especially in the unveiling and unraveling of complex financial scams. So when an editor says he will only publish your story if it can be condensed to 450 words, it's obvious that his intention is to block the investigation. This journey, painful as it's been, has only confirmed for me my core belief that the only reward for work, particularly journalistic work, is the work itself. The effects of undertaking such work is that such journalists are pushed to the fringes by their own community. Their punishment is that they never become editors, ensuring that they are never given the authority to set the agenda. Such punishment, such sacrifice cannot be undertaken by the faint-hearted. Eventually, journalism or any other calling can only reach its purpose of serving humanity if it attracts the best people. The best people are those who are strengthened by a deeply spiritual core. This makes discussions on spirituality even more relevant in a world of ever-expanding and dissenting voices. According to Ernest Hemingway, the best people possess a feeling for beauty, the courage to take risks, the discipline to tell the truth, the capacity for sacrifice. Ironically, their virtues make them vulnerable. They are often wounded, sometimes destroyed. The real question to be asked in the cacophony of the spiritual marketplace as well is how many people are truly and joyfully on a spiritual path. And if the test is embracing such a path of thorns, are they willing to take the test? Are all of us willing to take that test? Thank you.
Certainly, Ms. Shalini has left us with a very strong and important question. A question which she concluded with Ernest Hemingway's quotation, ready to be. I actually would like to quote Mahatma Gandhi here, because again his experiments with truth has been lessons for all of us. And he very nicely quoted a very strong statement. He said, whenever you do something new, something close to truth or actual truth, people first ignore you. Then they laugh upon you. Finally, they fight with you as well. And I'm sure she has undergone all three phases and has emerged as a winner virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, would like to mention that the prestigious Prem Bhatia Award of the year 2013 was awarded to Ms. Shalini Joshi. Moving on, as Dr. Chinmay Pandya said, a very close member of Gayatri Pariwar, and we can say an extended arm of Shantikunj, Seva International, who has been working in the field of, as a non-profit organization, uplifting the social masses and coming forward in the fields of health, education, rural development, child care and women empowerment. All those 7 pointers of Shantikunj and Gayatri Pariwar. Mr. Shyam Parande, who is the director of Seva International, he has been instrumental in guiding us in the past as well. And we request Mr. Shyam Parande to kindly come on the dais and grace this valediction ceremony and teach us the lessons in his brief note. Shri Shyam Parande.
Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Revered Dr. Pranav Pandya ji, and all the holy men and the dignitaries, my friends, I was keenly listening to Dr. Chinmay ji, who was saying that today is a sad day because we will be departing. Naturally, being part of a parivar, I always feel homely whenever I visit this place. Because I also suppose that I am part of this as I have been introduced. So this is natural. However, this country, sadly, has been hindered by Parivarvad. The dynasties, this is a little political statement, though I am not a politician. That's where the difference is. The culture brings us together, while in politics, every tool is used for the self, and culture tells us otherwise. Idam na mama. Everything is for the creation, nothing for the self. Today, the modern world, as the speed, the gush with which we are talking of the developments, the connectivity that we are talking about. Sometimes, somewhere, I feel in my mind, in my heart, that this is just physical. Why so? I recall an experience of a young man. This is 100 years back though. There was a young student, university student, traveling to Poland, Warsaw, from USA, and being a tourist, wondering about the city of Warsaw. As every other tourister was supposed to do, he also visited a famous rabbi, Hafez Haim, because he was famous for his wisdom. An old man, everybody respected, everybody bowed. And when this young man, young tourist from the most developed country reached the person, reached his home, he found it absurd. The old man sitting over there on a bench, a table over there stacked with huge stacks of books. The bench also had that, and the books overflowed. The young man was surprised to see the rabbi and could not stop himself from asking, "But where is the furniture? Where should I sit? I need to talk to you. Where should I sit?" And the rabbi, more surprisingly, asks question, retorts, "But where is yours? Where is your furniture?" The young man laughs. They say the old man, the famous rabbi, has wisdom and he doesn't understand that I am a tourist, I am a traveler. How can I carry my... The rabbi smiles and says, "So am I." I am also a traveler. Your traveling might be 3 days, mine is 100 years. Where is the problem? And do I carry my furniture all along? No. And that's where we are stuck up. The modernity somewhere. Because I see the development through everything that is physical. And when one feels that, can I go beyond that? Can I understand more than that? Then the search starts, the search begins, and the conference rightly is termed used 3 words. They mean a lot for every person living in this world. The yoga, the culture, and the spirituality, the spiritualism. Spiritualism, I'll start from the other end. Spiritualism came with human being. And one of the elders I could talk to, who belonged to a different country, who belonged to a different tradition, he said, yes, my friend, or can be, spiritualism came first, then came the human being. So it is as old as that. First came the spiritualism, because it came with the Panchamahabhutas. It came with the creation, and then came the human being. So naturally, the first place, the first thing that one needs to understand is the spiritualism. And the second term comes out of that. The culture has come out of spiritualism. The religion has also come out of that. I am not belittling the religion, but when one thinks of spiritualism, it's much beyond religion. Religion, of course, has a role. The rites and rituals also have a role. We don't deny. But then, primarily, is the spiritualism out of which the culture comes out. One of the grandma stories that I heard, and many of you might have, Dadi Ma ki kathaएं, that there was a king in India, a mighty empire, that the king wanted to construct a huge mandir, the temple, and he asked his men to find out the best sculptor available, and one was found out. And then the king ordered, build a temple, but the temple must have elephants. I get fascinated with the elephants. Many of us might be. I do. I also do. Whenever I see elephant, I'm overjoyed. I feel like, yeah, I should touch it. So it's like that. The king wanted an elephant, a temple with number of elephants. And lo, the man with the sculptor with his team constructed the temple. There were number of elephants, tens of them. And the king found out that all the elephants are totally similar in every atom. No difference at all. Amazed. He asked her, but how do you do that? All are similar. No difference at all. The trunk, the tail, and everything. The ear. And he smiled. He said, but it already exists somewhere. And king is surprised. But how does it exist? And the king, the sculptor says, I search for the stones, the boulders, big stones, and I find out a stone which has an elephant. And when I get the stone, I worship the stone. And after that, I start carving it. And all the unwanted part of that stone is removed, and there is the elephant. It's so simple. For the sculptor, it's so simple. For a layman like me, it's the most difficult part, because I don't understand that the stone also has something within. And when people ask, but when you worship the stone, how can it? But then the sculptor sees into it that there already exists an elephant. An amazing story. Because this has all the parts that we talked of, or what we are talking about. The Creator has given this body to me, this person to me, my soul to me in this body. And that's where I always have a dwelling. Somebody has to find that out. And the Creator has not given, like the sculptor understands that, and has been given a tool, the hammer and the chisel. But I have not been given a hammer and a chisel. All the unwanted part that has been cut off, chipped off by the chisel and the hammer was not the culture. What remains, the elephant, is the culture. I see into it. And the tool is yoga. The Creator, the divinity, has given me a tool into my hands. It has not given me a sculptor to sculpt me off, but given me a tool into my hands through which I have to become a culture. And that's where, to reach the spiritualism, to attain the spiritual powers, I will have to do what the sculptor has done, and towards that I need to use these powerful tools. So that's where we have ourselves as the sculptor through the story that my Dadima, my Aji as we called her, used to tell me or told me, and I could understand much longer, much more time after, because when I was a kid I could not understand this meaning, that the divinity also has given me the tool called yoga, and if I want to reach my ultimate goal, the tool has to be used properly and be a cultural person, a person with culture. They say culture unites. And in day-to-day life, we see many other things. When I was listening to Shalini ji, I really appreciate her courage, her efforts to bring the truth to light. And this is what exactly one of our national mottos is, Satyameva Jayate. Though sadly we avoid speaking truth in public many a times, yet Mahatma Gandhi used the words as often as possible. Somewhere we as a nation, we as a human society will have to tread the path Satyameva Jayate, and that's where the victory will come up. And thank you everybody for listening to me, and thank you Gayatri Pariwar as well as Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request His Holiness Jagat Guru Amrit Suryanand ji, who would like to offer a special token of appreciation to Shraddhey Dr. Sahab. Shraddhey Dr. Sahab के सम्मान में जगत गुरु सूर्यानंद जी एक टोकन ऑफ एप्रिसिएशन उनको प्रदान करना चाहेंगे. हम निवेदन करेंगे श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब से कृपया मंच पर आगे आ जाएं और जगत गुरु जी उनका सम्मान करेंगे. कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं जगत गुरु जी से पहले?
Quando a Confederação Portuguesa do Yoga, em 2001, propôs ao mundo a criação do primeiro Dia Global da Humanidade,
when the Portuguese Yoga Confederation proposed to the world the creation of the first Global Day of Humanity in 2001,
há 14 anos chamou-lhe o Dia Mundial do Yoga,
14 years ago, it called it the World Yoga Day.
o maior dia do ano, o solstício, o Dia da Luz,
The longest day of the year, the solstice, the day of light.
junho 21.
June 21st.
Foi porque achou que o planeta precisava da espiritualidade e da sabedoria da Índia.
It was because it thought that the planet needed the spirituality and the knowledge of India.
Bharata constitui-se como o grande reservatório da espiritualidade do planeta Terra.
Bharata constitutes itself as the great reservoir of spirituality of the planet.
É tudo o que encontramos aqui no Shantikunj Ashrama.
This is all we find here in the Shantikunj Ashrama.
Shantikunj Ashrama is the bija of the future. Porque aqui encontramos espiritualidade, sabedoria, conhecimento, iluminação e ciência.
Because we find here spirituality, knowledge, wisdom and science.
Principalmente aqui encontramos amor.
Most of all, what we find here is love.
Quem é a alma e a cabeça de tudo isto?
And who is the soul and the head of all of this?
O Mahaguru, Dr. Pranav Pandya.
Mahaguru Dr. Pranav Pandya.
E por isso queremos homenageá-lo
And this is why we want to make a homage to him.
com os dois maiores prémios da nossa instituição.
With the two greatest honors our institution has to grant.
O primeiro de grande mestre internacional do yoga.
The first one, International Grand Master of Yoga.
मुझे लगता है एक स्टैंडिंग ओवेशन बनता है इस बात के लिए। जोरदार तालियां। परम श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब का जो सम्मान हिज होलीनेस जगत गुरु अमृत सूर्यानंद जी कर रहे हैं, महागुरु का टाइटल आपने परम श्रद्धेय को दिया। पुर्तगाल योगा कन्फेडरेशन की तरफ से हाईएस्ट लेवल का सम्मान आप बता रहे थे।
E agora uma ajuda a uma lady, my lady.
Guruji is asking now the help of a lady.
Porque temos uma heroína entre nós.
Because we have a heroine amongst us.
Para a entrega do prémio Kailasha.
So that she can help to deliver the Kailasha Award to Dr. Pranav Pandya.
जगत गुरु जी ने शालिनी जी, जिनको एक हीरो बताया और एक वॉरियर बताया, उनके माध्यम से परम श्रद्धेय को सम्मानित करवाया। जोरदार तालियां इस ऐतिहासिक पल के लिए। और मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा परम श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब से कि परम श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब से निवेदन कि आज के हमारे जो अतिथि हैं शालिनी जी, श्याम परांदे जी,
I'm sorry. Uma última palavra.
One final word.
Aqui no Shantikunj Ashrama nós sentimos a Mahashakti.
Here at the Shantikunj Ashrama we feel the Mahashakti.
Graças à magia do Mahaguru.
Thanks to the magic of the Mahaguru.
Por favor, abracem uma árvore.
Please embrace a tree.
Agradeçam às árvores o tanto que dão à espécie humana.
Be grateful to trees for all that they give to the humankind.
Dentro da árvore escutamos a Mahashakti.
Inside of the tree we can hear the Mahashakti and her love.
I have to say only one thing. I am not a Mahaguru. I am simply a medical doctor, cardiologist, and a chancellor of this university. I am I believe in teachings of Sri Aurobindo, and he tells one thing: be an instrument in the hands of God. So I am the instrument in the hands of God. So if I have been awarded by Swami Amrit Suryanand ji, I am really very honored, and I'll keep the credit of this as it is, as has been given him by me. I consider him as a Mahaguru other than me as a Mahaguru.
हम निवेदन करेंगे परम श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब से कि आज के अतिथियों का सम्मान भी साथ में ही हमारी बहनें यहाँ से हमें मदद कर रही हैं। शालिनी जी जो कि इन्वेस्टिगेटिव जर्नलिस्ट हैं और फॉर्मर डेप्यूटी एडिटर है हिंदू की, आज के इस मंच पर एक वॉरियर के रूप में है हमारे बीच में। जोरदार तालियों से आपका सम्मान। स्वामी विशुद्धानंद जी हमारे साथ हैं, हम निवेदन करेंगे परम श्रद्धेय से उनका सम्मान करने के लिए। और श्री श्याम परांदे जी जो सेवा इंटरनेशनल से हमारे बीच आए हैं, श्री श्याम परांदे जी। सभी अतिथियों का पुनः बहुत जोरदार तालियों से हमने स्वागत किया, धन्यवाद ज्ञापन किया कि वे आए और उन्होंने अपना बहुमूल्य समय हमें दिया। सभी से निवेदन अपना अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें। आई रिक्वेस्ट वन एंड ऑल टू काइंडली टेक देयर सीट्स एंड इमीडिएटली मूव ऑन टू look forward to Swami Vishwavidyalaya ji to kindly come and grace this dais. Swami Vishwavidyalaya ji has been instrumental in conducting Yoga Week and making this yoga message reach the masses throughout the globe. Swami ji, आपसे निवेदन कि अपने आशीर्वचन से हम सबको लाभान्वित करें। स्वामी विशुद्धानंद।
ओम नमः समस्तभूतानां आदिभूताय भूभृते अनेकरूपरूपाय विष्णवे प्रभविष्णवे सच्चिदानंद परमात्मा के विभूतियों के स्वरूप में मंच पर विराजमान परम पूज्य अमृत सूर्यानंद जी, श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब, अन्य महापुरुष और जिज्ञासु के रूप में बनकर के सामने विराजमान उन परमेश्वर के चरणों में प्रणाम। योग, कला और अध्यात्म, इस त्रिवेणी का महासंगम परम पूज्य गुरुदेव की और परम पूज्य माता जी की सन्निधि में श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब के प्रत्यक्ष सानिध्य में और मेरे स्नेही चिन्मय जी के कुशल संचालन में संपन्न हुआ और उसकी उर्मियाँ आप सबके हृदय में देख रहा हूँ। बहुत बहुत आभार और धन्यवाद। श्रद्धा, श्रद्धा और श्रद्धा। योग प्राप्त करना है तो श्रद्धा चाहिए, कला प्राप्त करना है तो श्रद्धा चाहिए, और अध्यात्म के जगत में उच्च स्थिति प्राप्त करनी है तो श्रद्धा चाहिए। श्रद्धावान लभते ज्ञानम तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः, ज्ञानम लब्ध्वा पराम शांतिम नचिरेणाधिगच्छति। तत्काल कला से प्राप्त होने वाली प्रत्यक्ष शांति, योग से प्राप्त होने वाली समाधि की शांति और अध्यात्म के द्वारा अपने आप को परमात्मा के साथ एकीभूत अनुभूत करने की जो परा शांति है, उस सब का मार्ग श्रद्धा है। और वो श्रद्धा शांतिकुंज के और देव संस्कृति के इस वातावरण में साधन करने पर सहज उपलब्ध है और उसकी सहज सफलता आप सबको प्राप्त है, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। आपने बहुत तरह का, बहुत विभिन्न मार्गों से योग, कला और अध्यात्म के विषय पर व्याख्यान सुने, प्रायोगिक कक्षाएं और अनुभूतियां की। मेरे मन में एक बात आई, वो मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूँ। एक योग की शुरुआत चित्तवृत्ति के निरोध से है और एक योग की शुरुआत बुद्धि के निश्चय से है। बड़ा प्रचलित है चित्त की एकाग्रता का योग, और संभवतः अधिकतर हम में से उस चित्त की एकाग्रता के लिए प्रयत्नशील हैं। हमारा मन वश में रहे, हमारा चित्त एक विषय पर रहे। मेरे मित्रों, चित्त को एक विषय पर स्थित करना, ये पतंजलि योग, जैसा शालिनी जी के विषय से मेरे विचार आया, ये जो चित्त की एकाग्रता का योग है, इससे कहीं महान बुद्धि के निश्चय का योग है, और जिसे परमात्मा श्री कृष्ण ने समत्व योग कहा है। दो ही परिभाषाएं, योग की परिभाषाएं दो ही प्रकार से गीता में हैं। तम विद्याद दुख संयोगम वियोगम योग संगीतम। दुख की आत्यांतिक निवृत्ति, उसका नाम योग है, अथवा समत्वम योग उच्यते। सुख दुख में, लाभ हानि में, मान अपमान में एक समान रहकर अपने को प्राप्त कर्तव्य का अपनी शक्ति और सामर्थ्य के अनुसार निर्वहन करना, ये समता रूपी योग जिसके जीवन में आता है, उसके जीवन में योग, कला और अध्यात्म की उच्च अनुभूतियां सहज में आ जाती हैं। इसलिए जिस प्रकार का योग शालिनी जी कर रही हैं, वो बड़ा आदरणीय योग है, वो बड़ा प्रशंसनीय योग है। और निश्चय मानिए कि इस योग से, योग चित्त की शुद्धि से योग होगा, हमारे हृदय की निर्मलता से योग होगा। और यदि हमने अपने प्राप्त कर्तव्यों का और अपनी प्राप्त सामर्थ्य का इस परात्पर विश्व के रूप में परात्पर जो परमात्मा है उनकी सेवा में विनियोग नहीं किया, उस परमात्मा की सेवा अपने कर्तव्य पालन से नहीं की, तो भला क्या वो प्रसन्न होंगे? और उस योग से, इस सेवा रूपी योग से, इस कर्तव्य पालन रूपी योग से जो चित्त की शांति और चित्त की शुद्धि मिलेगी, वो सहज ही अध्यात्म शांति को प्राप्त करा देगी। बहुत अधिक समय सबका हो गया था और मैं बहुत अधिक बात न कहकर के पुनः आप सबको श्री कृष्ण के इन वचनामृतों का अनुपालन करने की सलाह तो नहीं, निवेदन करूंगा कि आप इसका भी अनुकरण, अनुशीलन करें। और तपस्वीभ्युधिको योगी ज्ञानीभ्यो अपि मतो अधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्मात् योगी भवार्जुन। आप सब योगी बने, उस योगी जो तपस्वियों से श्रेष्ठ है, वह योगी जो सकाम कर्म करने वालों से श्रेष्ठ है, और वह योगी जो शास्त्र ज्ञानियों से भी श्रेष्ठ है। ऐसे परम योगी आप बने। इन्हीं शुभकामनाओं के साथ ओम नमो नारायण।
बहुत बहुत साधुवाद आदरणीय श्री विशुद्धानंद जी को। Friends, I am reminded of Napoleon Bonaparte today, who said, "A leader is a dealer in hope." And blessed we are that we have a leader with a magnetic charisma around him, who always deals with hope, who never lets us go negative or down, who himself is so down to earth, as you just witnessed, that he immediately said, "I am a disciple, I am just a doctor, I am not a Mahaguru." That down to earth, simple persona, who is witty, who is sharp, who is always riding on the tides of time, whose every cell of the body emits the shlokas of Gita, who is a great disciple, who is the Senapati of this Yug Nirman Yojana, of this Yug Nirman Senani. I request my humble, sincere salutations to Param Shraddhe, Dr. Pranav Pandya ji, to kindly bless us. What should we take from this symposium, Adarniya Dr. Pranav Pandya ji?
भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. In the subtler guidance of my Guru, Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya, Paramandaniya Mataji, and seated on the dais, the dignitaries whom you have been introduced repeatedly, still I will try to address them by my mouth. Our Patrick McCullum, I had a very grand opportunity to meet him yesterday. He took breakfast with me, and we had a 1 hour talk, at least 1 hour talk. And 1 hour he discussed with me in detail about the spirituality prevailing all over, how it can be enhanced, how everybody can become spiritual. This is what we discussed with his friend, who is the very big industrialist, and he just devotes his time for the spiritual work. And they are all both of them are from West Coast, so you can imagine the zone which is full of charged particles. So this particular Pacific touching the border of the USA on the western side. Then we have got with us Shalini ji, we have got with us Akanksha ji, and Shyam Parande ji, who is very close to our organization, and he has been helping us in each and every regard, and his thinking and his philosophy is totally close to us. So that's why both of us keep on meeting very often, and this is particularly a very grand occasion that he is today here in the valedictory session. Amrit Suryananji Maharaj, who is a father figure to me, and he honored me today. His honor is a blessing for me, and this blessing I'll keep always with my heart, and I assure him that definitely your love and affection and your grace will always be taken care of by me. I'll try to become a person which he wants me to become. I don't want to become a Mahamandaleshwar, or I don't want to become a Mahaguru. I want to become a real spiritual disciple of my Guru. That is what is my ambition. That is what is my feeling, which I expressed always. We have got with us our Vice Chancellor, sir, and we have got Ajay with us, who keeps on, who brought the Czech Republic candidates, and they all were with us for the last 4-5 days. Then we have got our Registrar, our Pro Vice Chancellor, my dear son, who is really SUN son. So he's not only SON, but he's SUN son. And then we have got Sharad Pardhi ji, our Vice Chancellor. My dear friends, we had a very healthy discussion in last 5-6 days. Unfortunately, I could not make it on second day, but I had participated in each and every event through Chinmay, and I consider myself very fortunate to be participant of this 4th international festival. We are passing through a very critical phase in the life. Our whole humanity is passing through a transition phase in which the whole humanity is changing. You know that everywhere there is a lust, greed, hatred, and luxuries are being wanted more and more, and for that the corruption happens, which she talked about, Shalini ji. And corruption is nothing but the denial of the God's order, which he says in Isha Vasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhunjitha ma gradhakasya svidhanam. Don't keep an eye on anybody else's money, on yourself, and live in sacrifice. Live with sacrifice. Establish yourself in the sacrifice. Tyag mein pratisthit karo. Ten takten bhunjitha. This is what is the essence of the first verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad. And this Ishavasya Upanishad tells us one thing, that go on honest means, simple means. Kabir Das told very simple thing, रूखी सूखी खाए के ठंडा पानी पी, देख पराई चूपड़ी मत ललचाए जी. Don't get attracted by others' money and live a life of a simple person. Simple person. Where are those simple persons like Shri Mahatma Gandhi or Shri Aurobindo or Swami Vivekananda and my Guru, whom I consider as my icon, role model, who lived that life, who really lived that life. And I lived with him for 12 years, very close proximity of him. So what I understand is that this transition phase in which we are passing through the one era to another era is bringing many good things, is bringing very bombarding, explosive personalities which are exposing everything, like 2G was exposed and all these misappropriate happenings were exposed by Shalini ji. A young lady already warned by her editor, chief editor, that you have got your own limitation, and she goes to the last extreme and she exposes, and ultimately that case has been opened, and ultimately that case is totally beyond the limit of anyone. The Supreme Court has decided the verdict, and definitely many people are behind the bars. So this boldness has come in the younger generation of today. 650 million people in India are younger generation. They are between 15 and 35 year age group. My real hopes are these people, and these people will bring the yoga, culture and spirituality in each and every being. Unless and until we are spiritualized, we are not going to become in real sense honest, in real sense cultured, in real sense yogic being. Spirituality is the first thing to be there. I'm just with my apologies to Shyam Parande ji, I'll just try to say that spiritualism is science of spirits, Bhut Pret Vidya, and spirituality is science of inculcating good qualities, virtues in your day-to-day life. Every moment, every pal, हर क्षण आपको कुछ अच्छाइयाँ देने की कोशिश करता है. Each and every moment starts giving you, each and every moment starts giving you some good things. You try to absorb them. This is what is the spirituality. And spirituality doesn't have anything with the dress, uniform, tilak or khadau or all these things. This nonsense is not there. Spirituality is something which is very much closer to the people who really live that life. 24 hours are totally spent in that particular aspect of life in which they are really becoming every time purified. Purifying the consciousness, purifying the inner seeds of life is something which is known as culture. Culture is sowing the seeds of goodness on your soul. Culture is sowing the seeds of culture. Swami Vishuddhanand ji named it as a kala, but I will tell him that no, it is not kala, it is Sanskriti. Sanskriti is something which is very, very important. Sanskriti means nirai gudai. खेती में जब खेत में जब घास उखाड़ते हैं तो अच्छा बीज बोते हैं. When we do tilling in the farms, then we start taking out all weeds, all the wild weeds, and then we start doing the sowing of the seeds. Take out all evils in your inside, from in your inside, and start sowing the seeds of goodness in you. This is culture. Unfortunately, we consider culture as the cultural festival. A dance by Hema Malini, a dance by someone who is very, very known, celebrity. This is not culture. Culture is beyond that. Culture is very, very. I am very much adamant about it. That culture definition should be understood. Understand the definition. Agriculture. Agriculture belongs to the agriculture belt, but culture word is added to it. Horticulture, fruiticulture, floriculture. All these words have been added so that they make beautiful trees, beautiful plants, beautiful crops, all these things. So beautiful human being. How to make beautiful human being? Beautiful human being by sowing the good seeds. Right from the birth. The mother does it. And mother, feminine power of the mother, the Matra Shakti, the Shakti itself, that gives that power of becoming good all the time. That particular thing is culture. And then yoga is uniting, unison with God, microcosmos and macrocosmos. As Swamiji said very rightly, samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Equilibrium is yoga. Equilibrium in each and every aspect of your life. Don't be one-sided, don't be other-sided, don't be, have a life between science and spirituality. Live between two. Between scientifically, you be scientific also and be spiritualistic also. When I came here in 1977, my guru gave me the task, a very important task of uniting science and spirituality. He told me that science and spirituality combined together will bring the religion of 21st century. And I can foresee that scientific spirituality is now being understood by many people. They are now understanding the scientific spirituality. Because unless and until our new generation, our younger generation doesn't understand this aspect, then the episode which happened in Patna, just 2 days back, episode which happened in various incidents, various religious festivals, it will keep on happening by the uneducated, less educated, and those people who become VIPs and then they disturb the whole thing. We have to understand the concept of religion. Religion comprises of 3 parts: metaphysics, ethics, and spirituality. Spirituality is a part of religion. Metaphysics is something which decides the treatise of that particular thing. What is the philosophy? What is the everything? And the ethics is something which decides what should be done, what should not be done. Animal can do anything on the street, but you cannot do anything on the street. This is the ethics. Metaphysics, ethics, and spirituality combined together makes religion. So religion is a very broad word. Only the religion has to be understood in the proper perspective. In the proper perspective, in the era you are living, Yug Dharma, Manav Dharma, Swadharma, these are all the words which are added to Dharma. So this is what is the religion, culture, spirituality, and yoga. When we started this festival 4 years ago, then we started thinking about this, adding the word spirituality. When the people, that time VC, he asked me, who will talk about spirituality? Because without talking about spirituality, you cannot say about yoga and culture. Till now, the government officials of the tourism department have been leveling this as a yoga and culture, festival of yoga and culture. Unfortunately, festival word has become yoga and culture. Then this becomes festival only. It doesn't become the teaching workshop. It doesn't become in real sense, the satsang in which you are going to talk about the Almighty, consciousness about that. The consciousness is polluted today around us, and this polluted consciousness has to be cleansed. This cleansing of the consciousness surrounding us, cleansing of the consciousness pervading in me, and this all has to be cleansed, and that cleansing can be done only by yoga. Yoga is chittavritti nirodha. Yoga is cleaning of the chittavritti. All chittavritti should be cleansed. Without cleaning the chitta, you cannot become a proper person. You cannot become I won't say you cannot become a human being. The chitta has to be cleaned first, and for cleaning that chitta, the yoga is must. And that yoga is not postures. Yoga is not merely breathing exercises. Yoga is something which is the lifestyle, your lifestyle. Each and everything. Yuktahar viharasya, yukta chastasya karmasu. Your diet should be like yogi. Your living pattern should be like yogi. Yuktahar viharasya, yukta chastasya karmasu. Your all attempts, your all actions should be just like yogi. Yukta chastasya karmasu. Yukta swapnavabodhasya. Your sleep should be like yogi. And the moment you wake up, yukta swapna bodhasya, when you wake up, bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. The yoga happens to be sin destroying, all sorts of power, the misery is destroying. All the miseries of this world can be destroyed. Being a doctor, I can tell you, we are passing through a phase in which the diseases are increasing. Depression is the worst disorder, which is the epidemic of this 21st century. And depression, anxiety, and all varieties of the psychiatric disorders are increasing in number because we are flooded with the information. The social media is in plenty. We are watching today not the grandmothers, we are not listening to the grandmothers or grandfathers' stories. We are not living with them, even they are living in the old age houses, and we are watching only TV, and that is about 6 to 8 hours, including our children who are there. Ultimately, this is polluting your mind. This particular thing is polluting the mind. I will say that Shalini ji has been heading a very big unit of the Hindu as well as the Aastak, but the media, print media, news media, and the electronic media, these two need to be totally reorganized, overhauled. Then it needs to be overhauled and it needs to be told. Let us have a workshop of the journalists here, but journalists do not listen. They want to tell everything. They want to tell their thing all the time. So don't take it otherwise. I'm just telling you about all journalists in the world. They want sansani, they want everything which is sensational, and this is what is bringing them money. Unfortunately, everybody is after money, and this after money era has to go, and we have to start believing in whatever is there. I will be contented with that. I am very happy that a very good Prime Minister has come to this country, and I'm very fond of him because I have been his friend for last 30 years. I have been meeting with him since he was a ordinary Swayamsevak, ordinary volunteer, and then since he became the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and then I have met him out more than 10-12 times. Recently, me and Chinmay, both of us, we met on the 6th of September, and we talked at length, about 40 to 45 minutes, while the allotted time was 20 minutes. But we talked 40 to 45 minutes, and we talked about all the problems of today and how to solve them through the philosophy of Gayatri, through the philosophy of Gayatri Pariwar, through the culture and spirituality, and through the yogic well-being. He does yoga 90 minutes every day, Modi. But I told him, this yoga which you are doing is for keeping you fit. But yoga which now you have to do is to keep nation fit. And for this, making the nation fit, you need to have an outlook. And that outlook has to be very perfect outlook. And for that reason we have come here. We are here to give you some feedbacks, and we are here to give you not political feedbacks, but the cultural and the humanistic feedbacks, so that through that you can refine your talent, you can refine your intelligence, and you can convey it to the masses. He is doing that. I am very happy that after meeting him on 6th September, he is telling many things which we discussed, which we discussed. He is telling in the masses, he is telling everywhere. He told to Obama, he told to the people in the Japan and people in the China. And I am very happy that if this man is in India for 10 years, India will totally be transformed and India will become Jagat Guru. I am fully hopeful that India will become Jagat Guru. What Jagat Guru Swami Amrit Suryananji said, that me, Mahaguru, Mahamaguru, I am just going to tell you that we need only one Jagat Guru, and that is Bharatvarsh. Because this is the origin. This is the origin of yoga. This is the origin of culture. This is the origin of spirituality. And from here started everything, from the foothills of the Himalayas. We are on the foothills of the Himalayas. Haridwar, Rishikesh, these are the areas. Unfortunately, they are all polluted by the polluted religious heads and polluted politicians and then polluted Ganges. We need to clean everybody. Even the Mahamandaleshwars, even the Purohits, even the dharmic purush, we have to clean everybody because they don't have thinking. They just have preaching. They have to have a better thinking first, righteous thinking first. And they should start thinking in that way, that which brings a goodness to everybody, which brings better thinking to everybody, which brings more and more welfare to everybody. I presume that by organizing such festivals, we go each step ahead on that direction. And I thank all of you for participating in this particular, I'll call it yajna. Yajna means idam na mama. It is not mine. It is not mine. It is all yours. It is all the Lord Almighty's. This all credit goes to Almighty who made it successful, and this all credit goes to the person who were guided by the Almighty God as Gayatri, and we all are instruments in the hands of that. We should try to make this world a better world. We started with Ahimsa Day, that was the Bapu's day. We started with Satyamev Jayate, he was the worshipper of the truth. Now let us make the whole world full of truth and non-violence, full of spirituality and full of yoga. I feel that each and every man has to become yogi. Each and every man has to become excellence. He has to develop excellence in actions, and then he becomes a yogi. Each and every one man in the universe has to become cultured. He should be cultured in his behavior inside and behavior outside, and he should be totally spiritualized, and he should become in real sense a human being to live in, a dignified human being. I hope this festival will do that. I pray to Almighty. Thank you very much.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब को। मैं निवेदन करूंगा डॉक्टर साहब से कृपया वायलिन को अभिमंत्रित करने के क्रम में कृपया वी रिक्वेस्ट श्रद्धेय डॉक्टर साहब टू काइंडली bless the violin of Patrick McCallum, which has become actually a metaphor of peace. सभी से निवेदन है, यहाँ पर वायलिन का अभिमंत्रित करण किया जा रहा है। परम श्रद्धेय गायत्री महामंत्र से वायलिन को अभिमंत्रित कर रहे हैं, ऊर्जावान कर रहे हैं। The violin, which is now 2 years been traveling throughout the planet, is composed of belongings of various parts of the globe. For example, हिरोशिमा नागासाकी में जो बॉम्ब फटे थे वहाँ से मिट्टी लाई गई, और उसके बाद नेटिव अमेरिका के एक पेड़ की टहनी से इसे बनाया गया, और जब ये बन के तैयार हो गया तो ये बजा नहीं, इसीलिए इसे गंगा जी में डुबोया गया, उससे इसका पवित्रीकरण किया गया और 3 महीने तक इसलिए गया। Maybe Patrick McCallum would like to share about a little in brief.
I'd like to begin by saying that creation as we know it began with the first sound. And this sound became light and became the illumination of who each and every one of us are and every single thing in all existence. And many of us have wandered away from that sound. Across the world, we have many people who have forgotten that voice, that divine voice. And I was instructed by the Divine Mother to create this violin, that voice be shared once again. And within that direction that I was given, I was told that the violin should gain the blessings of all those people who are connected to the voice, and shall become the voice that all people can understand, a universal language. And so, your wonderful blessing, I have learned here that you're a conduit for that voice. And I know that your prayers will be heard around the world as this violin is played. And so I am greatly honored. The violin was made of many different components, which I was instructed that there must be diversity within the violin from around the entire world, that all the conflicts and resolutions of the world should be included. So pieces of this violin are from Africa, from the Himalayas, from Thailand, from the deserts in the Middle East, from the native peoples, from the Polynesian cultures, all the different cultures of the world. But in the end, I was instructed that when the violin was finished, that I should immerse it in the Mother Ganges River completely and let it be saturated with the beginning, the Mother. And I did that, and afterwards it gained a divine voice, and that is the voice that is shared with the world today. So the idea, the beginning, began with the sound made by the Divine Mother, and it was her again that the violin circulated back to be empowered to bring peace to the world. So thank you so much for being present at this moment where this great blessing has taken place. Yes.
We once again congratulate for the blessings by Shraddha Dr. Sahab, and now when Reverend will be playing this.
One other thing I would like to say is normally when this is played, it's played by accomplished violinists. I am not an accomplished violinist, but I'll be happy to share the sound of the Divine Mother.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a ton. I would also like to request all the dignitaries to kindly unveil the books which has been translated in Russian, Param Pujya Gurudev's literature. We have 2 books today to be unveiled. With special credit to the efforts of Dr. Gyaneshwar, The Eternity of Sound and Science of Mantra and Yog Ke Vaigyanik Prayog. And also, Ghulam Askari Zaidi ji has written a wonderful piece of compilation, Oasis, the Elixir of Yoga, which is actually the collection of poems on yoga. You can have a look. Oasis means ocean, which is a compilation of, you won't come across poems on yoga much, and we have our very own Ghulam Askari Zaidi sir who has compiled this, and the Russian books will also be unveiled today. Eternity of Sound, which we just heard the violin sound, and Patrick McCullum was sharing about this. The Russian translation goes like this: Vechanast Jhuk I Nauka Mantra. And Yog Ke Vaigyanik Prayog, the experiments, scientific experiments on yoga. Nauj Noe Primeniniye Yoga. 2 books have been translated in Russian, and one is a compilation on yoga. I believe all these 3 compilations deserve a big round of applause. And I would now like to immediately request Sri Sandeep ji, Registrar of Dev Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, who has been a disciple of Param Pujya Gurudev since last 25 years, he is here to kindly give the vote of thanks.
The last part of valedictory session, in the subtle presence of Param Pujya Gurudev and Mataji, sitting on the dais, chairperson of this ceremony, Chancellor Sir, Sir Dr. Pranav Pandya ji, chief guest of the valedictory session, Mr. Shyam Parande ji and Swami Visudhanand ji, guest of honor Ms. Salini Singh ji and other dignitaries on the dais, and in front of the dais all the dignitaries and participants from different parts of the world for this festival, yoga, culture and spirituality. All 5 days, it's a concluding day. We are now concluding with the very high note. It is all with the Gurudev saying that हम बदलेंगे युग बदलेगा. So we will change, the world will change. So we will take all the conclusion of this sense that we have to do something to transform ourselves, and that transformation will definitely impact on the world. So many thanks to all of you who participated in this program. On the behalf of University Administration, I would like to say again and again thanks. And if any problem was there, definitely we will want that to forgive us for all those. But as a family member, we would like to be here again in the coming festival of yoga, culture and spirituality next year. So thanks to everybody.
Friends, this is not the ending, this is just the beginning of the journey. Would like to just mention a quotation before the Shanti part. मुमकिन है सफ़र हो आसान, अब साथ भी चलकर देखो, कुछ हम भी बदल कर देखें, कुछ तुम भी बदल कर देखो। आइए शांति पाठ से आज की इस फेस्टिवल के आखिरी सेशन के लिए परम पूज्य गुरुदेव वंदनीय माता जी का स्मरण करते हुए उन्हें धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करेंगे मन ही मन, और शांति पाठ साथ साथ। ओम द्यौ शांति अंतरिक्षं शांति पृथ्वी शांतिरापः शांतिरोषधयः शांतिः वनस्पतयः शांतिर्विश्वे देवाः शांतिर्ब्रह्म शांतिः सर्वगं शांतिः शांतिरेव शांतिः सामा शांतिरेधि। ओम शांतिः 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 सर्वारिष्ट सुशांतिर्भवतु। सभी देवी शक्तियों को नमन करेंगे और अपने अग्रजों को विदा करेंगे यहाँ से। ओम नमोस्तनन्ताय सहस्रमूर्तये सहस्रपादाक्षिशिरोरुबाहवे सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः सहस्रकोटियुगधारिणे नमः।